seconds. Welcome to Truth or Facts podcast. I'm your host, Dylan, and Ronnie.
What's up, Dylan?
Yeah.
How we doing, dog?
Not much.
It's
So
been a
that
while since we last got together and talked.
yeah,
A lot of
CNN's
shit's
trying to
been
bust.
going on, dog. A lot of shit.
Yeah, did you see that town hall with Trump? Of course you did. That's why it's your back.
I didn't watch it. But I
I
caught
saw
clips
some.
of it on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw some of the highlights of it.
But from what I did see of it, the picture behind me is probably the last time that he was nice to that chick because
Yeah.
I don't know, she was pretty hostile towards him.
Well, everybody is and shit, but you know how bad it is that Trump has to go on CNN just to get some airtime?
Well, it
That's
was
how
good for
bad it's gotten.
CNN. It was
Well,
good
CNN
for
is always
CNN.
there. I mean, you know, CNN always throws fucking hardballs at him every single time, but
Oh yeah,
everybody does. But right away, I'm just like, wait, it's on CNN.
yeah. They got to stick to their narrative, you know.
What? Drink Bush Light
Well, like like when
or
President Trump
Anheuser?
is all like, "Oh, the election was rigged," and she's all like, "Mr. President, the election was not rigged. It was not a rigged election."
I watched some of the highlights of it. And that was just it. And, I kind of listened to the audience members after it, and they were just kind of like, there's nothing new. Like, quit talking about 2020 and shit. Talk
Yeah,
about, like,
it's
now.
like that's the only highlights that they have is just dwelling on the past.
Well, that's what I mean. But, this is where, I always said, like, Trump needs to bring back Steve Bannon and shit, because Steve Bannon actually understood what the fuck is going on. And it seems to me like, once Trump got rid of Steve Bannon and he left, like he was just like had no compass kind of shit where he couldn't stay
Well,
on track with anything.
I think the thing is that when
Bring back Steve Bannon.
Trump was when he was, first in office, not having a lot of experience in politics, he had
You don't need no fucking experience.
yeah, you kind of need to study like who it is that you're working with. I don't think he did his homework, or whoever he had doing his homework didn't do a good job at bringing in people to for his administration. A lot of these people turned out to be a bunch of fucking rhinos.
And cronies and shit. That's what I mean. I've
Yeah.
said that before. But, because he didn't expect to win. That was just it. It was like a last minute thing, like, oh my God, he's gonna win and shit. And then he's like, well, now what?
So you're saying he had false confidence?
Yeah, it was just another marketing ploy. I mean, he's always been a salesman,
Well,
but
he's a damn good salesman.
well,
But
that's just it. He's a great salesman.
he's the only kind of political figure now that he is a political figure. He's the only kind of political figure that can actually talk, you know, that can seem not really well, he can be like somewhat relatable to like middle class people or, just
Right.
average Joe.
You've
He
always
doesn't, I mean, like, yes, he like the guy is high on himself because, he's a very confident guy. He knows his worth and he knows like what he has, but, you know, he's at the same time, he's okay with taking that out of the picture, out of the equation and bringing that down a notch to people that'll never have what he has. And
yeah.
that's cool, like, I don't have a problem with that. He makes it, you know, his personality makes it seem relatable to a lot of other people out there. Like, because what he says is what a lot of people are actually want to say, but they
Right.
can't.
And a lot of people have always got fed up with the bullshit system. I mean, I've
Yeah.
always said he's always been a martyrdom. Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? He's
Yeah,
gonna fuck
like
the system
everybody
up.
expects, like, oh, well, you have to respect the president. Do you really have to respect the president if the president is doing a shitty job?
Right.
Shouldn't you, as a tax-paying American, shouldn't you be able to call him out on his bullshit?
Right. It's your right to, you know.
Exactly.
But my observation of Trump right now is he has gotten so far away of trying to compromise with everybody. Like when he was running as a candidate in 2015, 16, I mean, he catered to everybody because everybody was so sick and tired of the system. But then once he got into office, it slowly just kind of eroded away, and you just got tunnel vision on the whole entire, like you said, like the whole Republican Party kind of shit.
Well, yeah.
And in my observation of kind of like highlights of that whole entire town hall, it was like even the Republicans were like, quit talking about this shit. Like, talk about the problems that we have now, kind of crap, and don't even bring up the election. Just say, yeah, it was over, we lost, get over it, kind of stuff, and move on to these current problems. But it's just, I think it's just one of those things where he's so egotistical, he can't let it go. It's kind
Well,
of like,
he's got to defend himself at like every turn. Like
yeah, I get it. You're more
like
than willing
it
to
like
defend
like
yourself.
it like I don't think the guy has ever taken a break from fighting since he's been in office and since he's been out.
Well, you
Like
knew that when you signed up.
the last 6.5, almost 7 years have just been like straight up just like a war for that guy.
Yeah, then everybody treats him like a pinata. I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's one of those things where, and I kind of watched the highlights of that town hall or whatnot. He always answers questions with open-ended answers. You're nasty.
You are a nasty woman.
Yeah. What is the deal with nasty? It's always like hyperbole. Just be like, fuck off, bitch. You
Well,
invited me here.
she just kept
You
interrupting him.
called me up.
Yeah, she wouldn't even let him speak. She just kept interrupting him.
Well, a lot of them do because they have to do that in order to keep him on track of what
Mhm.
the act, because he always diverts and carries the narrative to whatever he wants. You know, what was the question that she had asked about well, they talked about the election. They also talked about the Ian Jean Carroll or whatever her name was, Jamie
Mhm.
Lee Curtis 2.0 or whatnot, and how he owes $5 million on that. And I saw something where it was in New York, so it was a jury of his peers.
Yeah.
Okay, address it, but at the same time, he's kind of like, I saw the deposition that he had where he's ridiculing the lawyer. He's
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't touch you.
Yeah. You're not my type either.
Yeah, and I'm just like, dude, you're on a deposition right now. This shit, everything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. And
Yeah,
it's
he's
just when
just
this he can't keep his mouth shut sometimes. I mean, the funny stuff is when he's like calling them nasty, you're a nasty person and shit.
when he
That's
talks
hilarious to
like
me.
that though, he is like he's still like speaking on behalf of a lot of people that are just like
I know, and that's
that.
just it.
There's like, the guy, he can be professional, but then eventually he just gets fed up with okay, I'm done being professional,
Yeah,
screw
exactly.
that.
And that's just it. It's so easy. The shit always goes overboard, probably like 5 minutes into every single interview he's ever done.
Hmm.
And he hook, line, and sinkers everybody. But the minute it starts going off the rails, that's where you have the interviewer is like, okay, like answer the question, though, stay on track, because he'll just try to carry it to whatever he wants to do and talk about. Like Ukraine. Well, first of all, we wouldn't be in war with Ukraine. Okay, well, we are. How would you solve this problem? We all get that. We shouldn't be there to begin with, but how do you solve this problem? Well, I just negotiate a settlement. Well, how are you going to do that? Wait, what? you know, like he always answers in open-ended answers, and to the average person, they psychologically they can take any answer that he says and just come up with their own narrative kind of shit. And all the greatest, I wouldn't say greatest manipulators in history, but just the greatest power players throughout history, whether it's the greats, Churchill, FDR, Hitler, Stalin, all of those political figures at the time or whatnot, they always knew how to not necessarily carry themselves, but tune into what everybody wanted. But at the same time, they knew how to carry the narrative to whatever agenda they really wanted.
Hmm.
And he's great at that. Don't get me wrong. But there was part of me where I was just like, yeah, just answer the fucking question, dude. Like, if I
Yeah.
will, if you let me. Well, go. you know. And it's just, I thought it was hilarious, but at the same time, I'm just like, up, here we go again. Like, if he gets back in, which I hope he does, because he'll just fuck more shit up.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. We're at the point now where it doesn't matter whoever you put in. We're done skis. Like, it's just gonna keep getting worse and worse and worse. You got the debt ceiling, and that's where I think the Democrats are trying to kick the can down the road long enough so if he does win, he takes over a fucking shithole economy. He don't know what to do. He's just gonna blame everybody else.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
then it's just
I just saw this thing. This guy gets Donald Trump signs his arm.
mhm.
He signed his forearm, and then he walked into or it's his inner bicep, and then he walked into a tattoo shop and had his signature
Tattooed.
tattooed on his inner bicep. Jeez.
But that's just it. We're kind of in that end game where people are losing hope. The
Let's
economy's,
let's take a listen to what Joe Scarborough has to say.
yeah, what the hell does he want?
It is. I'm constantly telling people not to catastrophize over Trump, that he's actually going to lose because he keeps drilling down deeper and deeper into his base. But it is. I can't believe I'm going to use catastrophizing language here. But it was disgraceful on every level.
Didn't he kill somebody?
I wouldn't say it's dangerous for democracy because we passed that a long time ago, but it showed the corrosive effects of Trumpism over 8 years. And I've got to
God,
say,
has it been that long?
the most shocking part was an audience who cheered on a president who tried to overturn American democracy. An audience that mocked and ridiculed a woman who a jury of her peers, Donald Trump's peers, found had been sexually assaulted. Those Americans there last night turned that into a punchline. Laughed
Well,
and dismissed.
I started cracking up when
out of them on January the 6th.
He just swore on live air
over and over again, calling a cop a thug who actually was trying to stop people from the House floor from being killed.
That's true.
I just could go on and on. I'm
there it was.
Well, I think like he had said like I don't even know her or something like that, but I heard that she has a dog or a cat and the dog's name is Vagina or some shit. It's like this is exactly what I'm talking about, dude. Like Trump, like dude, come on, nobody cares about that shit. It's funny, it cracks me up, but at the same time, it's not solving anything, you know. And what was another one that he had said? God, I watched a little bit of it and I was kind of cracking up. Oh, they were cheering him on and shit. But that's just it though. Like the American people fucking hate the media. And that's the only thing that can really gravitate a lot of people towards them. But I think she had asked a question about like, about Mike Pence or some shit. Like, did you ever apologize to Mike Pence or some shit? I can't remember, but it was something having to deal with Mike Pence where she was just kind of like, how do you feel about trying to kill him? And he just deviated away from that question.
Yeah.
Block, deflect, blame. And, like I said, nobody has any answers and shit. It's all talk.
Let's hear what Mitt Romney had to say about last night.
Oh, God.
People saw last night what they would get with another term of Donald Trump as president, which is completely untethered to the truth, uncertain as to whether he wants Russia or Ukraine to win in the brutal conflict which Russia has imposed on Ukraine. I think it was a great opportunity for the people of America to see just exactly who it is Donald Trump has become.
Fucking rhino, dude.
Well, that's just it. We're at the point now where America is going to default. Stock market is going to take a big shit. Chaos ensues. I mean, we talked about this in the couple episodes, the fourth turning and shit about that book. It literally says in there that, those 4 stages and shit where you've reached the pinnacle of stupidity, and instead of coming up with answers, everybody's just going to be like, how the hell did we all let this happen? Because you put a bunch of fucking overpaid bureaucrats in charge. You relied on a celebrity to be president. I mean, you all did it to yourselves.
Here, I
Or we all
found
did, but
the vagina here. I found it.
yeah, what's he?
Speaking of New York, I want to ask you about a significant verdict that was reached yesterday. I know this is something you want to weigh in on as well. A Manhattan jury found that you sexually abused the writer E. Jean Carroll and defamed her. You've denied this, but what do you say to voters who say it disqualifies you from being president?
Well, there aren't too many of them because my poll numbers just came out. They went up. I think I'm the only person in history who had a charge like that. And usually you leave office, you say, I'm sorry, but I'm going to back home. I'm back home to my family and everything. I'm going to be resigned. My poll numbers went up, and they went up with the other fake charge too. Because what's happening is they're doing this for election interference. This woman, I don't know her. I never met her. I have no idea who she is. I had a picture taken years ago with her and her husband, nice guy, John Johnson. He was a newscaster, a very nice man. She called him an ape. Happens to be African-American. Called him an ape. The judge wouldn't allow us to put that in. Her dog or her cat was named Vagina. The judge wouldn't allow to put that in. All of these things, with her, they can put in anything.
Vagina.
A jury of 9 people who found you liable of sexual abuse. Do you think that will deter women from voting for you?
No, I don't think so, because I
Dog.
I was cracking up, but at the same time, I'm just like, dude, here we go again, I love it though.
Oh, I'm here for it, dog. I am here for it. Oh man, did you see what was going on in El Paso today?
Oh, the what
Just
is
a
it?
straight up mad dash to the U.S.
Article 42 or some shit. That's why I got this background.
Well, that Title 42. I think they're holding on to that. I think that's
Title
still,
42.
that's
Well,
still.
what was it even? You don't get deported no more or some shit?
Yeah, it had a lot to do like with when COVID first hit, and then they had like all these travel mandates. Well, Title 42 was one of those mandates about keeping people out of our borders.
Well, I'll say this that a lot of Americans don't want to admit. America thrives off of fucking illegal immigration.
Yeah.
So, and kind of Steve Bannon had talked about this, and that's why Steve Bannon fucking hated all the Republicans and shit, because he's like, you Republicans, you talk about, illegal immigration, but you all thrive off of it because Texas is a big Republican state, big farmers, you know what I mean? I think Arizona and stuff like that. He's like, you're all a bunch of farmers. You all need illegal immigration. You say you hate it, but all your constituents really like it. They thrive off of it. So it's kind of one of those give and take kind of things, but it's the birth rate is collapsing in America, and I think this is just another way to cause more chaos in America so the government takes more control and shit. And with the media working together with the government, they're going to try to exploit it at every corner possible. You see all the migrants and shit like that. Okay, perfectly fine. America was built on immigration. And even back then, it wasn't legal immigration or legal immigration. If I remember correctly, all the way up until 1914, anybody in the world could go to Staten Island, I think, and sign on a little ledger book. That's where you had people from all across the world taking on American names, John Smith and stuff. And America was founded on that a long, long time ago, of freedom and giving everybody the equal opportunity kind of shit. But along the way, you've created so many incentives and the system has given so many incentives now to the point where they don't care anymore about Americans. They treat, immigrants and illegals better than they do real Americans and stuff like that. And I think that's the main issue that a lot of people do have. Similar with Ukraine. You have all this money to spend and shit, but we're going bust. We're going bankrupt, and that's what people are fed up with.
Yeah.
How the hell can you be more worried about your neighbor's family when you're not worried about your own family, kind of thing? But that's why America's retarded. We're not perfect, but
Apparently, this was after the town hall when all the cameras were off.
Have a good time, everybody.
Pretty much like pointing at the crowd and talking to them. Yeah, that was that.
Like I said, we're kind of in that end stage where I think the only president ever to serve 2 non-consecutive terms was Grover Cleveland, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, and Trump could be number 2. But at the same time, everybody knows what they're going to get if Trump wins again. He's going to his whole entire next term, if he wins, he's going to spend the majority of his time just going after everybody,
Do you want to hear what Anderson Cooper had to say about the town hall?
No, what? Same bullshit?
I don't know. Do you want to listen in on it?
Yeah, go ahead. Shooter McGavin.
All right, here we go.
Many of you
Hold on, here we go.
have expressed deep anger and disappointment. Many of you are upset that someone who attempted to destroy our democracy was invited to sit on a stage in front of a crowd of Republican voters to answer questions and predictably continued to spew lie after lie after lie. And I get it. It was disturbing. It was disturbing to see and hear that person refer to a black law enforcement officer as a thug, an adjective he used many times to describe black men, and call Caitlin Collins, the moderator, nasty, which is what he calls any woman who stands up to him. It was disturbing to hear him speak so highly of QAnon conspirators and insurrectionists who assaulted police officers in our democracy on January 6th. And it was awful to hear him spread ridiculous lies about the election. And it was certainly disturbing to hear that audience, young and old, our fellow citizens, people who love their kids and go to church, laugh and applaud his lies and his continued defamation of a woman who, according to a jury of his peers, he sexually abused and defamed. As good a job as Caitlin Collins did trying to fact check him, it is impossible to fact check fully because he lies so shamelessly. Now, many of you think CNN shouldn't have given him any platform to speak, and I understand the anger about that, giving him the audience, the time, I get that. But this is what I also get. The man you were so disturbed to see and hear from last night, that man is the front runner for the Republican nomination for president. And according to polling, no other Republican is even close. That man you were so upset to hear from last night, he may be president of the United States in less than 2 years. And that audience that upset you, that's a sampling of about half the country. They are your family members, your neighbors, and they are voting. And many said they're voting for him. Now, maybe you haven't been paying attention to him since he left office. Maybe you've been enjoying not hearing from him, thinking it can't happen again. Some investigation is going to stop him. Well, it hasn't so far. So if last night showed anything, it showed it can happen again. It is happening again. He hasn't changed.
That all depends on Melania.
He's running hard.
Yeah, Anderson Cooper is, he's scared, dude.
Well, all of them are. The establishment is scared, but at the same time, that's the last bit of freedom we really got,
Mm-hmm.
And
It tasted oh so sweet.
Like I said, it all depends on what Melania wants. Either Trump has to divorce Melania and run for president. Otherwise, I don't think she's gonna she's like, no, I went through hell for that last 4 years and shit. I don't want to do it again.
Melania's all about it.
No, of course not. But he's kind of like, honey, we're broke.
Yeah, but a woman like Melania, that's what you need for the face of the nation. She's beautiful.
Right.
She's beautiful, soft spoken. She seems like she's got
Soft
a young
spoken. She can
child.
barely talk.
Exactly.
It's like a
And
female version of Joe Biden kind of shit.
she seems like she's proud of her man.
Well, yeah, I mean, what do they call him? He's an alpha male. I mean, a lot of women like that are accustomed to being catered to and shit.
Mm-hmm.
She's a very beautiful woman. Don't get me wrong.
Yes, she
She's a
is.
foxy lady.
She knows how to, cue up all the right looks for the camera, which
Mhm.
I'm cool with.
Yeah.
Who would you rather send overseas, for a delegation or a dumbass coronation? Would you rather send Dr. Jill Biden, or would you send over Melania? I think
Of course,
Melania is a
Melania.
perfect fit for that.
But
She's a perfect fit for that.
yeah, she's gorgeous and shit. But I think his whole entire presidency in the next term leads up to Melania. Melania, I'm gonna run. No, I won't be there for you. But Melania, I won't be there for you,
It's gonna
Donald.
be like a Tom Brady and Giselle Bunchton
Yeah,
thing.
Munchkin.
Yeah. Bunchkin. Yeah.
Right.
Whatever the hell. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably be one of those scenarios and shit. Either he's got to divorce her, otherwise she's gonna divorce him and shit. And he'll be like, "Well, it'll only be my fourth divorce," you know.
Yeah. All right. Let's switch gears here. Let's get to Robert De Niro really quick. I mean, we don't really have to talk all the rest of the
These
show about
shoes,
him, but
these shoes.
yeah. He just had another baby.
Yeah,
At
how?
79 years old, had a baby.
I'm 35 and I don't even think I
Insane.
can have kids.
Insane. That guy's got some he's got some good swimmers.
Yeah, he's like Michael Douglas and shit. They're like 80, 90.
Yeah. Remember Michael Douglas, his dad, dude, lived to like
Yeah,
what,
Kirk.
102 or something?
Yeah, Kirk.
Spartacus?
Yeah. They
Yeah,
got some
man.
good genes in that family, but it's just like what amazes me is like, what the hell? These guys been drinking fluoride from the water for 80 years. How the hell do they
Yeah.
still have kids? You
I
know?
wonder what he had. Wonder if he, was up on that blue chew or something like that, dog,
Oh yeah, he's on Viagra. I heard like I forget where the hell I heard it, but I heard like De Niro is like a big giant cokehead, even in his 60s and shit. You know what I mean? He'd be
Yeah.
partying and shit. Once
Yeah.
he got divorced recently, he was a big cokehead again or something.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
I mean,
He'll have about like 5 more years left with his kid, and
but
then
like, why do you want to do unless it's an accident? Like, why do you guys do that kind of shit? You know what I mean? It's kind of like when
Mhm.
people have kids in their 70s, kind of shit. It's like, why do you do that?
Yeah.
Like, your kid will be 10 and you'll be 90.
Yeah, since we're on the subject of geriatrics, we can just hit right over to the Thelma and Louise star, Susan Sarandon, who was arrested for disorderly conduct at what was it, a protest?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that Marine killed that guy.
um, she was at the New York State Capitol, um, and she was protesting what, fair wages or something like that.
Oh, was it fair wages? I thought she was
Yeah.
protesting that Marine that killed that guy in the subway or whatnot.
Mm.
They try to turn the whole shit into another George Floyd shit. Oh,
According to
don't get me wrong, that
reports,
whole
the
George Floyd thing was sad, but at the same time, it's just kind of like
Alien star, Alien star, Susan Sarandon was not in Aliens.
no, that was
Well,
Sigourney Weaver.
these people fuck this. These people fuck this up.
What
Uh,
is that? The Onion?
no. What is this? Newsner? Hold on, let me see here. Yeah, Newsner. Well, yeah, she got arrested. Let's see here. Ex-CIA chief John Brennan speaks to the House on the Hunter Biden laptop letter. Former CIA director John Brennan, one of 51 intelligence officials who, in my opinion, should have his clearance revoked permanently.
Of course, it should be.
one of 51 intelligence officials who falsely suggested Hunter Biden's laptop could be Russian disinformation spoke to a House subcommittee Thursday as the panel investigates the origin of the Spies Who Lie missive. Brennan's transcribed interview with the select subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government lasted more than 4 hours.
Why is everybody so hung up on Hunter Biden's laptop? I'm still like on Hillary Clinton's thousands of emails that went missing.
Well, they didn't go missing. They went to that one dude. What the?
Anthony Weiner.
Yes,
Yeah,
Anthony
his wife.
Weiner. Yeah, and apparently a lot of the stuff that she had on there was pretty dark.
Pretty pedo.
Yep. Let's switch it up here. Let's go
Pedo.
to Oscar winner Jamie Foxx. He broke his silence today about 5 hours ago on his health crisis. Let's see what he
Did
said
he have
here.
a stroke?
I believe it was a stroke.
Damn.
Jamie Foxx broke his silence on the undisclosed medical complication that sent him to the hospital more than 3 weeks ago. Amid reports, the Oscar winner has remained hospitalized since shutting down production of his upcoming Netflix film Back in Action and forcing his game show Beat Shazam to sub in Nick Cannon.
Everybody loves Nick Cannon. He's hilarious.
He shared 2 posts on Instagram after weeks of silence. Appreciate all the love, feeling blessed, he wrote on his page Wednesday. He also thanked Nick for swooping in to help with his show, writing, appreciate my boy Nick Cannon on his Instagram stories. See you all soon, he added, according to Entertainment Tonight. So this is
man.
It's from Wonderwall. And let's see, what else can I dig up here? What else can... Oh, yeah, we have to get to this, dog. We got to get to this. Senator Dianne Feinstein arrives at Capitol in wheelchair in first photos following her nearly 3-month absence, battling the shingles. Can you break down shingles?
Shingles is just a chickenpox virus. It's like you never get rid of it.
That can be fatal for older people, right?
Yeah, I think, but like she was born when fucking shingles weren't even shingles. It was just like it wasn't. They didn't even have a name for that shit. That's how old she was.
Yeah.
I think they just called it the flu back then.
Let me tell you something, dog. I mean, there's these pictures of her rolling up to the state capitol and getting out of
She looks like
getting out
Nancy
of the car.
Pelosi's sister.
Dude,
Crypt
like
Keeper.
there's like this, like she can barely keep an eye open. Like one of her other eyes like droopy. And then like there's like a photo of her hand kind of like this.
Mm-hmm.
And all the skin is like sagged, and you could see like all the bones like in her hand. Like there is nothing there, dude. It is.
Well, that's why they call you a politician for life. Like they literally mean that you're a politician for
Well,
life.
she
You
netted.
die in that.
Netted about $200 million in her whole career as in politics. She's one of those stock
insider traders.
Yeah, insider traders. Yeah.
Dude, I went running today. I got sunburned. Like,
Yeah, you did. I can see it right on your forehead, like right down. Did you wear sunglasses? You didn't wear sunglasses, did you? You should wear sunglasses, dog. You should wear sunglasses.
Yeah, like now all of a sudden, like now I'm getting like burnt up now.
Yeah.
It hurts.
But yeah, just looking at her, just
should have worn sunblock. Whoops.
She makes me think of the term limits. I mean, we definitely need term limits.
Well, that's the part of the problem with the system. You gave them so much power that you want term limits, but they're the ones that determine the term limits.
Yeah.
Good job, everybody.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is like, why do people keep voting for this lady? Look at her. She can't do nothing for you. She should be, in her home, resting.
She should be making Jello at the nursing home, but
well, she can't make Jello. She should be eating the Jello.
She is the Jello.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's That's just it though. These fucking old ball suckers don't go away. They literally die in those chairs and shit in the Congress and the Senate, and they don't do shit. And that's what I mean. Like, we've kind of reached that point where somebody's got to take grandma and grandpa's driver's license away because they're driving on the wrong side of the road.
Yep.
It's their last bit of freedom, but at the same time, like, you need to take that shit away before they kill somebody. But instead of killing somebody on the freeway, they're gonna kill everybody. You know, there's actually a app that I use. It's called Autopilot. What it does is it tracks all the stocks of all the politicians and stuff. So like you can pick a pilot like Nancy Pelosi, and you'll copy all of her trades and buy all the stocks when she buys them and sells them and stuff like that. It's really cool. So you got a pretty good return on it, but pretty brilliant idea. But yeah, like Feinstein, like who even missed her ass? Nobody.
No one.
And that's just it. Like, why?
Everybody's asking for her to go hang up her shoes, dude. Call it a day.
They should. That Santos guy, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got busted for fraud or some shit, and the first thing out of his mouth was like, well, why don't you
$500,000, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, why don't you investigate the Bidens and all their shell companies? And that's what we've been talking about before. Like, this is where you have the system has gotten so corrupt, it's starting to eat itself now.
Well, it's also the Democrats' fault for letting him walk through that campaign thinking that, you know, he was going to get stomped. You know,
well, is he a Democrat, right?
No, he's a Republican. Well, he's a quote unquote Republican. Who knows what he is, dude? He's a tranny.
Right. But at the same time, it's just one of the things where the whole system is just starting to eat itself alive.
Yeah.
The system is crumbling. America is about to default in 2 weeks. And they can't do anything because they're so egotistical and shit. And this is where you're going to have your let them eat cake moment, you know?
Did NPR get back on Twitter?
Neil Patrick Harris?
NPR, the public broadcasting company that we pay for. That's pretty far.
I didn't even know there was one. I always thought it was PBS.
No, yeah, NPR.
No clue. Yeah, I gotta use sunblock next time. This is gonna hurt.
Yeah. Well, let's get on this subject of what is it? What were we gonna break down, dog? Fugazi.
Fugazi.
What was that you brought up that brought a lot of attraction?
What, on one of her videos or what?
Yeah. What was it?
The Fluhan?
Yeah, the Fluhan. Yeah.
Yeah, Fluhan virus.
The Fluhan from Wuhan.
Yeah, nobody's even found out, or nobody, like, you don't even hear this shit no more. Like, they just lifted all the final restrictions or whatnot.
Yeah.
Here we are 4 years later or whatnot, and it's just like, oh, now it's finally away. Well, no shit, it was never really there, you know. It was, but you know, we still haven't found out the origins of it. Where the hell is Fauci at? Nobody knows where the fuck he is. The guy's disappeared faster than Jimmy Hoffa.
Probably in Cabo San Lucas, dog.
Right, laughing his ass off. You know, Ghislaine Maxwell. You haven't heard any of that shit. What is the media all talking about lately? Tucker Carlson and Trump's coming back on the campaign trail, and then the migrant crisis, you know.
Well, Tucker's coming back to Twitter, dog. He is locked and loaded, ready to rock and roll.
Well, he said he should just start his own with like Ben Shapiro or some shit.
Dude, his last video had 100 million views in 2 days.
Right.
That's insane. One guy.
Pretty popular guy.
Yeah.
Everybody likes Tucker.
I like Tucker Carlson. I like him.
Right, but you know, it's just it though. what he should do is he should just go on Truth Social or whatever. But
Yeah.
even Trump don't like him because Tucker Carlson was talking shit behind his back in those text messages. Like, come on, what is this crap? You know?
Yeah. But I think that was that was while he was in office. But I think, you know, Tucker's watching how he's just getting ridiculed and just constantly going to war with all these, you know, these establishment politicians. It's just he's beginning to see that it's not cracked out to what he thought it was.
Well, that's just it. The big reveal is that how morally corrupt all these media companies and institutions really are, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you should go and team up with Ben Shapiro. That'd be kind of a tandem.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really big on Ben Shapiro. Not big on what's her face too. Uh, that works over there at Daily Wire. I'm not really a big fan of Daily Wire, dude. Not really.
Yeah, what is it? Kaylee McAfee or whatever?
No.
Didn't she take over Tucker Carlson?
I have no idea. I haven't watched Fox since he left.
Well, this is it. Nobody has.
Are you drinking Bud Light, dog?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna be drinking tomorrow though. It's gonna be my birthday, so
Bud Light's
35. Here I come.
Attaboy. Well,
Yeah.
happy early birthday, dog.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
gotta put some lotion on.
Yeah, Bud Light's taken. Yeah. I don't think there's any coming back from that.
Well, I think this is a perfect opportunity for like Mike's Hard Lemonade to make a comeback.
Yeah. What about what was that? Red Dog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or Red
Dog.
Stripe.
Yeah.
I forget where I was. I was talking
Four
about.
Locos.
I was at a barbecue this past weekend and we were drinking and I introduced these fucking kids that are like 25 to a couple of Mickey 40s. Remember Mickey's?
Yep.
Fine malt liquor.
Yeah. Did you duct tape their hands?
Yeah, they didn't know what Edward 40 hands was and shit. And I was like, get out of the way, you little fuckers. I was like, I'll show you how it's done. So I brought a 40 and a couple of Mickey hand grenades.
Yeah.
And the kids are like, what is that? And they're like 25, 24, And I was with my buddy, our buddy. And I was like, oh, yeah, they got riddles on it. And they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, you open up a cap and you look underneath it and it's got a riddle. And they're like, really? I was like, yeah. So I was like, the party or life of the party, these little fucking riddles on the Mickey's hand grenades. And the girls that had a blast with them and shit. They're like, what do you call them? Why do you call them grenades? I was like, because they look like a little glass grenade. Like they're Mickey hand grenades,
Mm-hmm.
But it was just a big giant culture shock. I'm like, I'm old as shit,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But they're like, oh, you want to play flip cup? I was like, where's the beer bong at?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, we don't have one, but we'll play flip.
What's a cake stand?
Yeah. How do you open it?
Yeah.
And but yeah, it was kind of like a culture shock with me and my buddy because they were just kind of like, oh, but I was like getting drunk as shit, walking around the neighborhood drinking a 40, like, where's the party at?
Yeah.
Where's this barbecue at?
I tell you one thing that I've been getting into since Tucker left, or since he got fired, is I've been getting locked back into a lot more sports, dog. I've been taking it like I don't really. It's nice.
Hockey?
No, bad. I've been really locked into the playoffs, the NBA playoffs. I watched like one hockey game. I don't know. Hockey is kind of hard to get into for me, dude. But
Yeah.
I've been watching the NBA playoffs. Like, I really like that Golden State LA Lakers matchup.
Yeah.
And then, well, the Celtics and Philly are playing right now, and the Celtics are winning. They're trying to tie the series. But and then I've been watching a lot of Brewers baseball. Like I watched them play.
How they doing?
They're all right. They're still above 500. I mean, but I'm going to the game on Saturday when they play Kansas City. I'll be there Saturday night. It's Star Wars night, so we get Bob Uecker Jedi bobblehead.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, it's been pretty nice to just kind of, like during the day, I'll, keep myself all, caught up with what's going on in politics. But then at night when I can come home and then I can just kind of settle down, I just, I can watch some sports and it's like kind of relieving, You
Yeah.
kind of need like just a little distraction from all the madness that's going on out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's just another bank failed and shit. I think it's called Pac West or Pac West.
Mm-hmm.
But the region, it's so funny to see the media try to play this shit off because they always bring out the big players.
Yeah.
They just brought out like Jamie Dimon and shit before, like 2 weeks ago. He goes, "No, it's a problem, but it's not a big problem." And then all of a sudden they were down 20% again today or some shit like that. It's a big giant contagion and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I said before, like you. I was listening to Glenn Beck and stuff like that. I always listen to him every now and then. He's got some good stuff. But he made a very good point. Like, kind of what I was saying is that your money will be fine in the banks as long as it's under 250.
Yeah.
But your purchasing power is going to go to shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because in order to bail out all these regional banks, dude, like, think about it. These regional banks, I think there's maybe 200 of them.
Yeah.
And there's probably each one on average probably has at least 100 billion. The FDIC only has 125, so they're kind of thinking like, okay, we'll raise the limit of the insured and shit, but you can't. Like, there has to be losers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially the market is determining who is solvent and who is insolvent.
Yeah.
And the only way you find that out is by letting some fail and shit. Right? It's kind of I wouldn't say it's like a Titanic kind of thing, but at the same time, it's more or less, well, if you're perfectly fine, your balance sheet is fine and you're making good loans, you'll be fine. But they all weren't making good loans. All of them were making terribly bad loans.
It's because of their
But
new credit score system, that ESG credit score system that they have to use to implement, where they got to
yep.
pretty much cater to everybody.
Yeah, that was part of it. And you're just seeing the government is just fucked. You know, the government screwed up. The regulators were, and everybody knows.
When doesn't the government screw up?
Right. The government can't
Doesn't
even make a
matter if you're
profit.
Republican or Democrat. The government is forever going to be screwed.
Right. Exactly right. But
It'll
that's just
never. It doesn't matter how by
you know,
the debt will never get fixed. It can never get fixed. That is.
government, you remind me of my oldest grandson. You just don't think things through.
Yeah.
Oh man, River, zip it or I'll break your hip.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, another bank failed and shit. But I said, because all the guys at work are still coming up to me like, oh, I just read it. Another one went down. I said, I fucking told you. I was at the bar last weekend and back in October and November. Real nice guy. He works at a trust company for rich people kind of shit.
Yeah.
And we were at the bar and shit, and I was talking to him because I love finance and stuff. And this is back in October, November, like when FTX was blowing up and shit. And I said there's a banking crisis and shit. Well, I recently saw him last week. And as soon as I saw him, he goes, I was thinking exactly. He goes, I was thinking of you when I saw this shit going down. So I was talking to him for about a good half hour, having drinks with him at the bar and shit. And he goes, how the hell did you know that the banks were having trouble? I said, well, look, when they give out free money to everybody, somebody's always on the hook for it. And the way that the banking system is so interconnected, it doesn't matter if one bank makes stupid loans, they're all connected. Everybody's borrowing money from somebody, right? That's how the system works. But I told him, I was like, I wouldn't be worried about the banks. And he goes, "Oh God, what?" You know, because he was like, "You were right about the banks." And I told him I wouldn't be worried about the banks. I said, over this coming summer, the debt ceiling and shit, that's a big thing. But I think in the last minute it'll come through. But come fall, and I told them to pay attention to the media and shit. Come this fall, the pension systems are gonna go. The insurance companies are gonna go and shit.
I think it's kind of funny how an average Joe such as yourself is telling a finance guy what's going on.
Well, it's human behavior.
Well, shouldn't he be paying attention if he's handling other people's money?
Yeah, you would think, but that's just the point. That's the very point that I get. Everybody's asleep at the wheel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just how money works.
Did he ask you if you wanted a job?
No, but he bought me a beer. Because I told him, I was like, I'm going to make you $1 million with this information. Now, if you want to make $1 million, that's up to you. But I told you, I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen next. And he goes, okay, I'm listening because you were right about this. And I said, because he had mentioned silver. And I think silver is probably right around like $25.
Yeah.
And I said, because he was like, oh, what do you think about silver? And I said, yeah, precious metals is great right now. Commodities are going to be great, but they'll be even greater. But first, they're going to take a shit dive first. And I said to him, I'm going to throw out a number with the number of silver, of what silver will eventually get to. And you won't believe it, but I'll tell you it. He's like, what's that? And I said, it's my belief that silver, 1 ounce of silver will hit at least 500 to $600 an ounce. And it's only $25 an ounce right now. And he goes, how the hell do you come up with that number? And I said, well, what is the one thing that destroys demand but increases it exponentially very, very quickly? What can destroy something and raise the price on it very, very quickly? He goes, what? I said, war, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because war kills demand because nobody knows what the hell is going on at that point, right? When all hell breaks loose,
Mm-hmm.
everybody kind of looks and says, okay, what do we all got, right? Because now all of a sudden, all that much supply is
The
just got
beans,
cut in half.
bullets, bacon factor comes into effect.
Butter and salt,
Yep.
and all those foreign nations are teaming up. They're not teaming up for no fucking reason. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like I explained to the guy at the bar that I was talking to and stuff, I said it's the equivalent of a bully on the playground where America has been the bully, beating the shit out of all these little kids. But eventually the little kids team up and beat the shit out of the bully. And then the bully goes running to the teacher saying, oh, they beat me up. They beat me up. But all the kids are coordinated together. They go, we don't know what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to happen. So I said to him, like, told him, I was like, get a fucking gun. But yeah, that happened to me this past weekend and stuff like that. But yeah, buckle up because it's gonna get crazier and crazier and crazier. That's why I think that was the perfect time for sports. Um, but some people should be getting a garden ready or stuff like that because this is where you're gonna get food shortages and shit going really, really bad. Because they
What's
just
the name
came up.
of Bill Gates's food thing? He puts like some sort of like wax on like fruits and
Eve,
veggies.
yeah, I had heard about that. I think it's called like VV or something like that.
Yeah, isn't it like some sort of like substance that he puts like on like the fruits and vegetables that's supposed to keep it preserved or from going
Hmm.
bad in transport?
Yeah, it's like a wax.
But it's deadly or something like that.
Yeah, it's from private farms, but it's like kind of they use these shell company farms. So you really don't know it's Bill Gates's unless you do your own research on it. Do a lot of research to find out that he's the actual owner of it, right?
Yeah.
But I had read something or seen something on TikTok where there is so much pesticides on fruit and shit nowadays that if you were to wash your fruit or soak it for like your you falling asleep?
No. No.
I had seen something where if you wash fruit like strawberries and shit,
Yeah.
you can literally take that water that you soaked it in
Yeah.
and go and use it as pesticide on other shit because there's
Right.
just so much pesticides on
Wow,
it.
that's crazy.
So you can reuse the water that you just washed off
Oh,
to use it as a pesticide. That's how
you don't even have to go
concentrated.
to Home Depot, dog.
No, that's how concentrated the shit is. But yeah, I think something big is coming down the pipeline. This whole entire debt default, we already defaulted on the shit. Admitting to the fact you need to go further into debt to pay off the next debt or to
Yeah.
pay off the debt you already have, that's a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
That's the
Something
very
already did come
definition.
down the pipeline. It was yesterday when all the when the GOP was talking about what they found on Hunter Biden and or the Biden family and their, you
Shell
know,
companies and
yeah,
shit.
their shell companies.
Like
Yeah.
we already didn't know that, but they're not. Nothing's gonna happen,
No.
right?
So
So
it's
that's
like
what I mean.
like wow, so you're just wasting our money just to do this shit, just to
Mm-hmm.
not have anything happen.
Right, another psyop.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
ridiculous, dude. It's like, gosh,
I
I wish
wanted
we
to
could all
show
get together and
everybody.
stop paying taxes.
Remember when I was talking about the pizza parties that everybody has? Well, at my work to piss off management and shit,
Hmm.
I created this
Do your slice.
the coveted pizza cutter award I made. So like when we have our meetings and shit, I always say like I nominate you, so and so Brian. You now get to hold the coveted pizza cutter award. And they're all like, "Oh, gee, thanks." And I said, "Yup. And if you do a good job and make us even more money, I'll let you pick out the toppings at the next pizza party." Everybody just laughing and shit. How's work been with you?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little scary at my job and shit. Well, it's starting to get scary at a lot of places. They're slowing
Oh yeah.
down and shit.
Yeah. A lot of manufacturing places. Yeah.
Well, that's their own damn fault. I mean, how can you have this many people in charge, right? They take all the credit on the way up, none of the accountability on the fucking way down. You hollow out the company, you run the shit into the ground, and then everybody acts like it's 100-year flood, like nobody could have seen this coming.
Mm.
Kind of like America, right? Hey,
Yep.
the debt ceiling's coming up. Don't worry. you know?
We're just gonna keep pushing it back.
Yeah. Extend and pretend it's called.
Yeah.
But this is where there's a lot of money moving around in the markets right now. And this is kind of where the average American doesn't understand where if you move too